Hey, it's Tristan from www.primaledgehealth.com. Getting a little vitamin D production, nitric oxide production from the sun. Enjoying this beautiful morning in the Valley of Vilcabamba in Ecuador. And I've got a quick video today about protein on a ketogenic diet. Now, I've done some other videos like about how much protein you need when you're doing keto, about some of the myths about protein consumption on keto. And on this one, I'm going to tackle another myth and just kind of a point of confusion that confounds a lot of people when they're starting a ketogenic diet and trying to formulate it properly. And that's how much protein per meal is too much on a ketogenic diet. Now, a lot of people are under the impression that protein must be severely restricted when they're doing keto. Now, this is context dependent. Let me explain. By context, I mean, what are your goals? Why are you doing a keto diet? What are you trying to achieve? If you are doing a medical ketogenic diet where you must maintain elevated blood ketones constantly, if you have epilepsy, if you're dealing with a serious disease and high blood ketones constantly are a necessity for you, then of course, watching that blood glucometer, watching your blood ketone levels will be important. But if your goal is a healthy lifestyle, body composition changes, if you're not trying to get all crazy and be obsessed with the blood glucometer, be testing your blood glucose, testing your blood ketones 5 times a day, spending $5 a day to just test your blood ketones. If your goal is body composition, health, healthy mindset, healthy lifestyle, you probably don't need to worry so much about coming in and out of ketosis transiently and occasionally after a meal. Okay, so protein. Of course, if you have a huge bolus of protein, it will increase your insulin levels and it can pull you out of ketosis. Now, how long this being pulled out of ketosis lasts is going to be context dependent. Like I said before, if you're doing a medical ketogenic diet, if you have epilepsy, if you are trying to battle a serious illness, got a brain tumor, something like that. And of course, elevated blood ketones constantly should be the goal. Okay, so context. Not only are your goals, do your goals need to be taken into account, you also need to take into account your body composition. Your body composition. If you have significantly more lean muscle mass, somebody who has significantly more lean muscle mass will need more protein and will probably be able to utilize more protein per meal than somebody who's not used to eating a lot of protein, somebody who does not need so much protein. Whew. A little bit of pollen flying around here as the seasons dry up. Anyways, if you got more lean muscle mass, you're probably used to eating more protein. You probably will want more protein, and you'll probably be able to eat more protein per meal. Now, the common myth that people believe is that you can only absorb like 20 or 30 grams of protein per meal. And I'll get to that later. That's kind of the reason why I'm making this video. A lot of people are under the impression that if you have more than 20 grams of protein in a meal, first of all, you're going to be out of ketosis. The world is ending. Your blood glucometer is not going to register blood ketones above 0.5 millimolars per deciliter. And you're going to fail. Now, that's not true. You don't need to be so worried about that. If your goal is body composition, a healthy lifestyle, an enjoyable diet that you can stick to long term, that gives you clarity of mind, that gives you the ability to enjoy your life a little bit better, that frees you from the cravings of the junk food and the stuff that would give you a bad body composition that you didn't desire, that would make you feel weird or even guilty for some people when you do binge on it. If that's your goal, then being out of ketosis for a few minutes wouldn't matter. So going over 20 or 30 grams of protein, if that did kick you out of ketosis, wouldn't really matter. So, body composition and goals. Also, age is another factor. The older we get, the more protein we need to maintain lean muscle. Hormonal situation in the body changes, the body begins to age and break down. Older people require some more protein. This has been shown many different ways. So you've got goals, body composition, age, and also the context of genetics. Some people just torch protein better. Some people assimilate protein better. Some people need less protein. Some people need more protein. If you've been playing around with your diet for years, you will understand that your body responds differently than other individuals' body. You can't just take a blanket statement, throw it out there and say, this will work for everybody, this is optimal for everybody. We all have different contexts. We all live in a different environment. We all handle nutrients differently. We all assimilate nutrients differently. We all prefer different nutrients, different foods. So, yeah, got to take that into account as well. So, there's a myth that you can only absorb 20 to 30 grams of protein per day. And a lot of people who are thinking about maybe doing something like intermittent fasting. Wow, massive eucalyptus tree was just cut down, hopefully intentionally. Didn't hear a chainsaw, this thing just tumbled. Okay. You can only absorb 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal is a myth. This has been shown in many different ways to be false. The myth actually started from studies done on whey protein. Ooh, yeah, lots of these protein studies, lots of the information that you have is done by companies who sell protein supplements. What a surprise. Anyways, there's a myth that you can only absorb 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. So you need intake all this protein in 20 to 30 gram increments throughout the day. There's also a myth that you need like a ridiculous amount of protein, 2 grams per pound of body weight, meaning I would need like 320 grams of protein per day. If I was getting that from Whole Foods, I would need to eat like 3 pounds of beef every day. That is absurd. You do not need that much protein to maintain lean muscle mass or even maximize muscle protein synthesis. Actually, most of the studies show experimentally, and the data is even shifted up a little bit, but most studies show that you don't need any more than like 0.7, 0.8 grams per pound of lean body mass. That means your total weight minus your fat mass. You don't need any more than like 0.7, 0.8 pounds per pound of lean body mass on a carbohydrate-based diet to build lean muscle. Now, on a ketogenic diet, it has been shown that there are more branched chain amino acids available in the blood. There is a bolus of branched chain amino acids available. It is protein sparing. It is muscle sparing. So perhaps it will be shown experimentally that you need less protein to build muscle on a ketogenic diet. I'm not saying that's the case, but it may be shown. So you can only absorb 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal is a myth. If that was true, we would not be alive. Human beings are used to going through long periods of protein restriction when certain foods are not available, and then when an animal would be slain, when you hunt and kill an animal, there is an abundance of meat available. We have not always had refrigeration, freezers. We've not always been able to go into a store and purchase a protein source any day, any time. So if we were not able to absorb more than 20 to 30 grams of protein in a sitting, we would not be here. Think about it, guys. Come on. Common sense here. All right, so things that will affect how much protein you can absorb per meal are the same as the context. First of all, your body composition, your age, and your genetic inclination. Now, how much protein should you eat per meal? That is contextual as well, of course. So for an individual who's been utilizing intermittent fasting, who's used to intermittent fasting, been doing it for a long time, having more protein in a meal and absorbing more protein in a meal is of course going to be necessary. If you're eating 1 or 2 times a day, if you're fasting for 18 hours or 20 hours, like a lot of individuals enjoy doing, and then you're eating a couple large meals or 1 large meal, then that protein intake is going to be, the protein demand rather, for those meals is going to be higher. If you're doing 3 square meals a day, then having, 20, 30, 40, for some people 50 grams of protein per meal might be ideal as well. So, as far as maintaining ketosis, if that is the goal, if you are doing a medical style ketogenic diet, you can't just make a blanket statement that this much protein will be absorbed, this much protein will kick you out of ketosis, because every protein source is different. There are certain proteins that are more insulinogenic. There are proteins that will raise your blood sugar more. There are protein sources that will promote lower blood sugar. So if you're eating fish primarily, it is known that DHA, the most important fatty acid for the brain, for the human central nervous system, massively beneficial fatty acid. The reason why people eat grass-fed beef over conventional, I don't know why it's called conventional. This is a new phenomenon of feeding cattle grain year-round. But the reason most people prefer grass-fed beef is because the higher omega-3 content, the lower omega-6, which is an inflammatory fatty acid content. So DHA is very, very important. So all these people eating grass-fed beef, why don't you also focus a little bit of that energy on eating some fish instead, eating some seafood. So not only are you going to get the DHA, you're also going to get selenium and iodine, things that you're not going to find in a significant amount in beef or other protein sources. Anyways, that's beside the point. Fish is far less insulinogenic, and the reasons why are kind of debated. Some people believe it's because of the presence of certain amino acids that, when present, decrease the insulin response, decrease the blood sugar response to these protein intakes. But yeah, fish will be, first of all, absorbed rather quickly, and second of all, especially fatty fish, will release less insulin. Casein, for instance, is a long, slowly absorbed protein. Whey is more quickly absorbed. So there's so many different protein sources. Some are absorbed quickly, some are absorbed slowly, some create a higher insulin response, some create a much lower insulin response. So the context of what protein source you're going for may also determine if your goal is to maintain deep ketosis all the time, even 30 minutes after a meal, which most individuals, regardless of the type of meal they eat, even if it is very high in fat, if it has a significant amount of fiber, it has a significant amount of protein, most individuals will be out of ketosis for a small period of time after the meal. Now, if you greatly restrict your protein, then of course you can maintain that ketosis even during and for that like hour or two after meals, if that's important to you. But if your goal is body composition, a healthy lifestyle, healthy mindset, being so stressed out about your blood ketones, is that really going to be beneficial to your goals? Is it really going to help you? You got to ask yourself that. All right. So, I pretty much hit on everything I want to hit on this video. Now, how much protein should you intake per meal? It's going to be contextual. If you're doing 3 meals a day, you're going to have less protein per meal than if you're doing intermittent fasting. If you are doing intermittent fasting, do you need to worry about being out of ketosis for that period of time of several hours after your meal when your blood ketones may go down? Do you need to be worried about that? You're going to have to ask yourself that. Consider your goals. Consider the context. Consider the effects on your lifestyle, on your mind state of being so concerned about this slight drop in blood ketone or slight rise in blood glucose. So yeah, context dependent. Too much protein in a meal doesn't really exist objectively. Now, subjectively, you might be able to eat too much protein per meal if you need to maintain high blood ketones. So there it is, guys. Kind of a long video, but I think I hit on everything I wanted to hit on. You can check us out at www.primaledgehealth.com. If you want coaching, hit us up in the coaching section. The maca offer, we still got 1 kilo bags of maca. People have been stoked on it. People have been sending us messages like they can't believe how the flavor profile and the effects that they're getting from it. And it's pretty funny because I did mention that there's a lot of lower grade material out there that gets sold as organic maca. Oh, this is great stuff. And yeah, we know that ours is actually the best, so that's why I get so excited when people give me feedback, because we're here in the Andes. We get to source this stuff directly. So if you want some maca, my favorite adaptogen, the Andean adaptogen, check out the maca on our website, www.primaledgehealth.com. We also have a free ebook all about maca, how to use it, what's up with it. It's called Maca, the Andean adaptogen. So still got those 1 kilo bags for you guys. Thanks for the huge response on that and all the support on the channel. Lots more content to come. Jessica's like she's 6.5 months pregnant right now. And so we'll do some more pregnancy updates. She's down in the garden with Ariana. I'm doing some work on the computer, coming outside to get some sun, making a video as an excuse to get that sun. So I'll see you guys next time. www.primaledgehealth.com. Too much protein in a meal doesn't really exist. It's context dependent. If you're doing IF, too much protein in a meal, not going to be a big deal. You're going to be very high blood ketones during that fasting period, and when you do eat, your blood ketones will drop, your blood sugar will rise for a little bit, but it's okay. Your goals will still be attainable. All right, see you guys next time.